बचाने निकले।
आवाज दो, आवाज दो, आवाज दो।
Protests broke out across the country on December 11 when the Citizenship Amendment Bill was passed into law by the Parliament. The legislation was attacked for being anti-Muslim, and it sent shock waves into a community which was still struggling to come to terms with the Ayodhya verdict.
सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल के अंदर किसी भी की नागरिकता लेने का कोई प्रस्ताव ही नहीं है। जो प्रताड़ित लोग हैं, जो माइनॉरिटी है, वहां पर हिंदू, सिख, बौद्ध, जैन, पारसी, क्रिश्चियन, उनको नागरिकता देने का प्रस्ताव है, लेने का प्रस्ताव नहीं।
Under the new law, refugees fleeing religious persecution belonging only to the Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain and Christian communities are welcome in India and eligible for Indian citizenship. Muslim refugees are now no longer welcome in this country. In this segment, we at the Federal try to understand what this means for the thousands of Rohingya Muslims living in India. In 2013, the United Nations described the Rohingya as one of the most persecuted minorities in the entire world. The BJP government has always made it clear that the Rohingya are not welcome in India. The question, however, is how does the new law change the situation on the ground for the most persecuted minority in the world? We visited a Rohingya campsite in Bangalore a day after the citizenship law was passed. The Bangalore police was already there. The policemen weren't happy with our presence and quickly left. They refused to share their names and ranks, revealing only that they were from the police commissioner's office.
ये पुलिस वाला आता है, कमिश्नर पुलिस आता है, आके हमारा पूरा डिटेल लेके जाता है। ये अमरतुली स्टेशन, ये कंपापुरा स्टेशन में, पुलिस स्टेशन कंपापुरा में, उधर से पुलिस आके हम लोगों को पूरा क्या फिंगरप्रिंट ले लिया। हमारा पूरा फैमिली जितना रोहिंग्या मुस्लिम है, छोटा बच्चा 2 महीने का 1 महीने का बच्चे से भी फिंगरप्रिंट लिया। हम लोगों का फोटो वगैरह लिया, पूरा फैमिली का फोटो लिया, हाफ फोटो लिया।
कब
ये तो बहुत बार लिया सर, हर साल लेता है सर। हर महीने आके पुलिस वाला इंक्वायरी करके जाता, कौन नहीं आया, कौन इधर से गया, ऐसा पूछ। हम लोग ये रेलवे स्टेशन पहुंच गया। रेलवे स्टेशन से रेल देखा, रेल में बैठ गया। रेल ने जिस लोगों को, जैसे कि कलकत्ता हवाई स्टेशन से बैठा हूँ, कोई जम्मू पहुंच गया, जम्मू का ट्रेन में बैठ गया। कोई ये बेंगलुरु का ट्रेन मिला, उन लोग बेंगलुरु पहुंच गया। और कोई दिल्ली का ट्रेन मिल गया, उन लोग दिल्ली पहुंच गया। ऐसा हो गया सर, आगे पीछे हो गया। ये लोग किसी को ये नहीं मालूम है सर, ये हम दिल्ली जाऊंगा, हम जम्मू जाऊंगा। हम जाने के बाद पता लगा ये कौन सी जगह, कौन सी डिस्ट्रिक्ट है।
The Rohingya are no strangers to sectarian citizenship laws. In 1982, the community was rendered stateless when the military government of Myanmar passed a citizenship law that excluded the Rohingya. Overnight, over 1 million people became illegal immigrants.
और मेरा खानदान से बहुत 5-6 आदमी वो लोग मार दिया बर्मा का सरकार, मिलिट्री ने, ब्रिटिश मिलिट्री। वो गांव में आके हमारे घर जला दिया उधर। लेकिन हमारा रिश्तेदारी से बहुत खत्म कर दिया सर।
Although the Rohingya had been living in the Arakan region of Myanmar for generations, with a history going back to the 15th century, the government deemed them illegal Bangladeshi immigrants.
हम लोगों का देश में, गांव में हमारा भी अपना ऐसा घर मुकाम था, जमीन था, दौलत था, पूरा सब कुछ था सर। ये छूट का गया। क्यों छूट का गया सर?
Human rights lawyer Sahana Baswapatna in Bangalore has been providing legal help to refugees for over a decade. We spoke to her to understand what will happen to the Rohingya now that the Citizenship Amendment Bill has been passed into law.
I have not been in touch with the Rohingyas in Bangalore, but I can say this with some responsibility and confidence that Rohingyas have always felt a certain sense of fear here because of the fact that they are Muslims, and and they are outside the system, as it were. Those who have refugee status certificates may feel a little more comfortable saying that we are legally entitled to live in India for as long as our refugee certificates are valid. So the fear of deportation is very much there, because I think we are in a situation, we are also looking at a context where the government has assumed that all Rohingyas are illegal immigrants and associated with terrorist activities. So you see, that makes their presence in India...
Notwithstanding the cards that they have been given by the UN.
Notwithstanding the cards that they've been given by the UNHCR.
আর হলেন তো রোহিঙ্গা মানুষ, বর্মার তো আইসি এখানে আইয়া থাকছি হন আমরা কিছু জানি না দেখলা আমরা রোহিঙ্গা বলে আমরা কার্ড লইছি, কার্ড দিছে এখানে দিল্লিতে ইন্ডিয়ার তুন কার্ড লইরে আমরা এখানে থাকছি, আমরা কইছি তোমরা হন সমস্যা নেব কার্ড লইরে তোমরা এখানে থাকো, কার্ড সারা থাকিও।
In August 2017, a circular was issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs, and they said Rohingyas are illegal immigrants and they have to be deported. And there were also concerns of terrorism associated with this community. And you must also understand that, for instance, there were the blasts in Bodh Gaya at that time. I don't remember the date, but and Rohingyas were supposed to be involved. Now, one doesn't have any allegedly involved. Nobody. We do not know of any FIRs registered against them or any prosecution or trials that were going on. In 2017, when the circular was put out in August, the government claimed that there were 40,000 Rohingyas in India. If the government of India is saying 40,000, in my estimate, there could be far more, because there are also a lot of people who might not get into that system as soon as they might like to, because of various reasons. They might not be in proximity to UNHCR.
Many of the Rohingya we spoke to had the UNHCR cards, but the document offered them no protection from harassment from the police. तो आपको कैमरा में नहीं आना है?
नहीं आना है।
क्यों नहीं आना है?
पुलिस को डर लगता है।
क्यों? पुलिस क्या करता है?
हम लोग का आकर पैसा लेता है।
पैसा लेता है? कितना पैसा लेता है?
आता है 200, 300, 400, 500 भी लेके जाता है, 500 रुपये भी लेके जाता है। 50 रुपये दिया तो नहीं लूँगा, ऐसा बोलता है। इधर क्यों रिया है, चला जाओ, तुम्हारा गांव में चला जाओ, ऐसा बोलता है, ऐसा बोल के गाली देता है।
और महीने में कितना बार आता है पैसे के लिए?
आता 2-3 बार आता है।
পুলিশ আইয়া 70 টাকা লইয়া যায়, 100 টাকা লইয়া যায়, মাসে 4 টাকা।
On August 9, 2017, the then Junior Minister for Home, Kiren Rijiju, announced in Parliament that the government plans to deport all 40,000 Rohingya living in India, including those with UNHCR cards. In October 2018, the government deported 7 Rohingya men and handed them over to security forces of Myanmar despite a huge international outcry. The United Nations had flayed that move as inhuman and said, and I quote, "The Indian government has an international legal obligation to fully acknowledge the institutionalized discrimination, persecution, hate and gross human rights violations the Rohingya people have faced in their country of origin and provide them the necessary protection." But the Supreme Court of India dismissed a petition challenging the deportation. Will the new citizenship law now make things worse?
Rohingyas are outside the purview of the Citizenship Amendment Bill. So they will still be illegal immigrants coming in. They will still be subject to the UNHCR mandate. And if they are protected by UNHCR mandate, they will only have to go through that route. So in my view, nothing changes as far as Rohingyas are concerned. In fact, what is interesting about the CAB is that there is at one level we are talking about giving citizenship to people coming in from these countries belonging to certain communities on the grounds that they are persecuted as a minority in those countries. Under refugee law and international refugee law, I think we've come far ahead of the times where we've discussed how the Cold War situation necessitated the refugee convention. And people now are talking about having, we've always, as refugee lawyers and and people who said that we want a law in India, we've always said that have a system in place that does not discriminate between one community or the other.
वो सुना था उस टाइम इधर ये मुस्लिम और ये हिंदू सब लोग इधर का जितना सरदार लोग सब लोग इधर का मिलजुल के आज़ाद किया। अभी देश आज़ाद करने के बाद इतना साल इतना देर के बाद फिर ये मुस्लिम को निकाल देगा, ये कौन से तरीका होगा सर? मुस्लिम को निकालना हो बाकी लोग रहना सर, ये तो इंसानियत से गलत होगा ना सर।